The Canik TP9 SFL, let's check it out. There's one thing you can say about Canik firearms. These guys never rest. I mean, they have come out with so many different models to fit about any shooter. Whether it's their standard TP9 SF, their TP9 SF Elite, and also with their TP9 SFX, which is their competition model. And now with the SFL, which is for Special Forces long slide. This is a long slide version, but all the bells and whistles have been removed to make it much more affordable. We've been shooting it at the range, and with that long slide, it definitely has more sight radius. It has more just pointability. I mean, there's a lot of things about this pistol. And guys, I've been a big fan of Canik's ever since they introduced their original TP9. These pistols, for the money, they're just hard to beat. Now, the Canik TP9 SFL Elite, long slide version of the standard Canik SF, which has been extremely popular. One thing though that really strikes me is the number of rounds that we have lined up here. I mean, this is 18 in 1 in your magazine, and it's flush fit. You know, it just gives you a lot of capability in 9mm. One thing though that I've really noticed about this pistol over a lot of the others is the Seracote finish has kind of a semi-gloss to it. It's almost like a black nitride or melanite finish. It's just a beautiful color on it. Now, one of the things about Seracote is that you will get a little wear here and there, but the great thing is there is a phosphate coating underneath that's going to help this Seracote even attach better. So this is going to give you a good, nice, long finish. These guns are really made to shoot about 50,000 rounds accurately, and really 60,000 rounds as far as the service life. These are up to NATO specs. They've been put through all the NATO specifications and tests, and they've been used all across the world. These are used by the Turkish military. Now, one thing about these pistols is that Canik is actually a privately owned company. It's not a state-owned company there in Turkey. First thing we're going to do is make sure the gun is unloaded. I'm going to drop the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. Now here we have the TP9 SFX. It is a ready-to-go competition pistol, and there are a lot of extra bells and whistles on this pistol that are absent on the TP9 SFL. And one of the reasons why is because they wanted to bring in something that was a lot more affordable if you just wanted to go to the range and shoot without RMR cuts. Now, one of the things that, of course, that the SFX has is RMR plates. You can take this cover off. I've done a full review on this pistol and with the Trigicon RMR, but there are 4 different plates that you can switch out for different optics. But this has the gray Seracote finish. It's kind of a matte finish. Now let's double check to make sure the gun's unloaded. We're going to drop the magazine, check the chamber, and it's empty. These do come with 20 round magazines. They're marked 18, but then you've got this base plate at the bottom. The great thing is these magazines will work in your standard SFL, and it just sticks out at the bottom like the SFX. So you can actually get these magazines if you want to go with your SFL. From this side, there's not a lot of differences, but then when we turn it over, we've got a little bit of an extension here with the slide stop. The magazine button is enlarged, but you can actually switch this out with different magazine buttons. In fact, this is not the largest, but it's pretty protruded. Here, it's a little more recessed, and it makes it kind of nice. But you can switch your magazine release to the other side with either pistol. The sights are also different on these two pistols. You get a fiber optic front sight with the SFX. You still get the worn tactical sights at the back. These are blacked out both, and then you just get a white dot at the front. One great thing about Canik being so popular is that there are a number of different companies now making sights. In fact, I did a review on XS sights recently for the Canik, and you know, it's a great option. But I think TruGlow also makes them as well. But otherwise, these two pistols are pretty much the same, except for a few additions on the SFX. One thing though that I do like about Canik pistols is they have a holster that comes with them. This one's a little bit different than some of the standards. Most of them have like a Serpa type button right here without the strap, and this is just a rubber strap. With this one, the button is actually placed inside, but the tension's relieved. So you can actually, it's just really a tension holder for your pistol. So all you do is just pull out, but yet it retains it. And if you want to remove the strap, you can. But this just makes a great little holster. But until you get a different type holster, this is a great way to be able to start out. And there are a number of companies now that are making holsters for the Canik. The rear cocking serrations are solid, but then you have front cocking serrations as well. The slide itself is 4140 steel, so it's a good quality steel. You have ports cut, and this just relieves some of the metal to keep the weight down a little bit, especially with the longer slide. And you're going to want that because it just helps somewhat with the felt recoil. There are serrations cut into the slide to keep glare down from your sights. The texturing on the grip is nice and aggressive, but not too aggressive. And then you have pyramids on the back and the front. These do come with two other backstrap options, whether you go with small, medium, large, and I believe this one is the medium. And it fits in the hand very nicely. You know, really this is a kind of a clone of the Walther P99. Now the original P99s had the decocker, but so did the Caniks. And so this is very similar to the Walther P99. You have an M1913 true Picatinny rail, so you can put all kind of different lights and lasers. You will notice these cuts also in the bottom of the slide as well. It does come kind of to a narrow point with those high power cuts, and makes it just easier to holster. Nice and large trigger guard for gloved hands. Now, of course, the one thing you'll notice is the trigger safety right here on the trigger, which is typical for a lot of striker fire pistols. And we're going to double check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Pull the trigger. Right here, it's a nice take up, and then there's a little bit of resistance right here, and then a nice crisp snap. We're going to check reset right there. I mean, that's one of the things about the Canik is the trigger is just excellent. We'll check the trigger pull weight with the Lyman trigger gauge. Got this from Brownells. 4 pounds 7 ounces. 4 pounds 4.3 ounces, and that's pretty consistent with what I get. It's under 4.5 pounds. And just as a size comparison with the standard TP9 SF Elite, the slide coming out just a little bit longer, and the magazine well coming down just a little bit. But the TP9 SF Elite is a fairly compact pistol, 15 in 1. Here you have 18 in 1. One thing about the SFX Elite though is that you do have these extended slide stops on either side, which is nice. Here the slide stop on the SFL is minimal, but what's on most of your Canik pistols. When the gun is cocked, you'll notice right here at the back is a little red mark, and this means that the striker is cocked. It doesn't mean that the chamber is actually loaded, but it does let you know. And as soon as you pull the trigger, it disappears. Now the barrel is 5.2 inches. It is a cold hammer forged barrel, which is going to give you a lot of strength, a lot of life. One thing that they also do, and this is across the line with Caniks, is they are match grade barrels. There is a video out right now where a guy was shooting 250 meters with the Canik TP9 SFL. And I'll have it annotated right here. It's pretty impressive. The guy was shooting at 125 meters and then moved it on out to 250. So the accuracy is there, guys, if you can do it. And the weight on the Canik TP9 SFL, 1 pound, 13.6 ounces. Suit sticker, suitsgear.com. I want to thank Freedom Munitions for supplying the 9mm 115 grain full metal jacket. You get a 5% discount using Suit00 at freedommunitions.com. Now at the range, it had typical Canik reliability. I mean, it just functioned. I know that at one point that the TP9 SF Elite had some ejection issues, and of course Canik addressed that with a new spring kit. The one that I have, I just didn't have any problems with. You definitely have more mass going out toward the end of the slide, but with these cuts and these ports in the slide itself, it does take away some of the mass. So it makes it a really great shooting gun. The balance is really nice. Because of the long slide, when you're pointing it, you just seem to have more control over the pistol, being able to get right on target. And again, with the little bit longer sight radius, it does help. Now, one thing about the longer barrel, you're getting about 50 feet per second more energy, which is about like a plus P round. So, you know, it gives you a little extra, but you do have a little extra slide length. Guys, at the range, shoots like a Canik, feels great, a little bit longer, a little easier to point, but again, still a Canik. Now we're going to disassemble the pistol, drop our magazine, check to make sure the gun is unloaded. Pull the trigger, pull back on your slide about 1/8 of an inch and pull down on those two tabs and the slide comes right off. Here we have a captive recoil spring and guide rod. It is steel. You do have your flat recoil spring, which does help with felt recoil. And then we have our barrel. Look at that long barrel. That's incredible. These are just excellent. Again, cold hammer forged. It's 5.2 inches in length, and they're just good quality barrels. The interior is very well finished. There's not a lot of tooling marks. You can see where I've been shooting the hound out of this thing, and we have been. But it's just a very nice, well done handgun. Here we have your frame, and of course it's polymer. A lot of similarities to a lot of your other striker fire pistols that are on the market. Guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. To reassemble, drop in your barrel, your recoil spring and guide rod, place it back on your frame, and you're good to go. As far as the retail price, we're looking at about $520. As far as at your local gun shop, I know Classic Firearms had these for $399. Which is a fantastic price for a long slide version pistol. And I'm sure there are other prices that are very comparable out there. One of the big differences beside all the features that you get on the SFX is that the SFX runs about $100 more. If you're looking for a base model, you have the SFL. If you're looking for a lot more of the bells and whistles, the fiber optics, the extra magazine capacity with the extended controls, that might lead you to the SFX. But if you want something bare and basic, the SFL is an excellent pistol. Now, as far as pros and cons of the pistol, these are made up to NATO specs, and it is an ISO 9001 factory that they produce these in. They are made in Turkey. Guys, I'll tell you, I know there's a lot of political things about Turkey, and that's really up to you on whether you want to purchase this gun because of that or not. But regardless, the Canik is very popular here in the United States. And this is a gun review channel, so that's what we're going to talk about. Reliability, the accuracy, the match barrel in this firearm is just great. And of course, because it's so popular, there are a lot of aftermarket support, whether it's holsters, sights, Talon grips, you name it, they're coming out with it. Because the price, again, is just so reasonable for a really good quality pistol. As far as the cons go, it's just according to what you're looking for as far as for the long slide version. You know, it is larger than your standard Canik pistols, your TP9 SF, and definitely the TP9 SF Elite, which is a little bit shorter. You've got 15 rounds. This one holds 18 rounds, so you've got a lot of firepower, and then you have the extra magazine, so it does give you a lot of capability. For shooting matches, this is really what this gun excels in. And if you like to shoot steel, if you like to shoot different matches, if you just like to get together with some of your friends and shoot, this is an excellent choice. Home defense, another good choice. Velocity out of the barrel because it is a little bit longer, and again, the balance and the pointability is exceptional. So other than just for for what you're looking for, I don't really see a lot of cons with the pistol. And I want to thank Canik for sending the TP9 SFL. This has been a real joy to shoot, and guys, you know I've done a number of different Canik reviews, and I've shot a lot of rounds through these pistols. But guys, don't just take my word for it. Get online, look at other reviews. There's a ton of different reviews on the Canik pistols. Not a whole lot on the SFL, but it's really the same kind of reputation for those pistols that you're going to get with the SFL. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And we're going to get rid of all this ammunition at the range. Throw it back on the frame. Now, as far as price goes, I think the retail price on these is $529. I don't know what it is.
When I owned a Rover, I never had a thing go wrong with it all the years I owned it. I had it for 5 or 6 years before I had it, and I only got rid of it because I crashed it. So that was my, partly my fault.